How's it going, guys? I wanted to make this video because I'm really tired of hearing the Necro sucks. Uh, and the summons aren't good. You can't build a good Necro with Summoner setup, and they're wrong. Like, this build absolutely wrecks shop. I'm having no problems as a Summoner. My damage is not even optimized yet. I just switched to my summoner setup. I had been planning to switch to. Um, I have two versions of this build. The pre-summon and then the post-summon. I'm now finally high enough Paragon to switch to the summoner setup, the second most ideal setup. I don't quite do the damage that I could be doing here shortly. It's getting better as time goes. I already do one shot the entire screen with white mobs, but my minions are not optimized yet, so I'm still working on optimizing my minions. But I kill the white mobs no problem, and elites go down very fast. Elites are not a problem for this build. I see a lot of builds, and this is on hardcore. I see a lot of builds struggle with elites, and this build's very tanky. This build has lots and lots of damage. It's great for bosses. I'll have to include a little boss fight here. But the build itself is relatively simple, and every time I level up now, the damage is significantly increasing. I just hit 69. I'm considering adding Golem because I barely use Corpse Tendrils. And with the Golem, you can create vulnerability with the Golem. So that is something I'm considering instead of the crit strike damage, because I really don't need any more damage. Overpower is strong enough. Overpower doesn't scale is another thing that they said. It's because they're doing it wrong. It does scale. Scales very sharply. I have 4,100 life, so that's over 83,000 or 8,300 damage. 8,350 damage plus the percent multiplier damage increase. So we got a dungeon here. Let's do this dungeon. Give you an idea of how fast it can farm a dungeon. One shots mobs, like not a problem, and it'll do the whole screen that way. So the necro is very strong. You're gonna hear from guys like Rax and stuff like the pro Diablo players. Well, you're not very pro if you don't know this. Apparently the people you play with just don't know how to make a necro, or they're all so obsessed with the blood or the bone skills. The bone skills are not the best, especially in hardcore. If you want to survive, blood's the way to go. This little pack here, gone. On bone spear that would have taken multiple attacks. I just one shot the whole crowd. Why why they're so obsessed with bone spear is beyond me. I've made multiple bone spear necros, and they can't even come close to this. It's not even comparable. The AoE of this build is so good. And elites. Like, we have a double elite here. Once my fortify's up, it's game over for elites. And now, because my fortify is up, it will remain up, because I'll pick up blood orbs and it'll keep it maintained for me. So now I have full fortify. It's just an absolute death show. Just absolute chunking. Like this elite right here. Let's get into this elite. And his friend can get some too. So that was a fully fortified elite pack, right? Or elite mob. One of the toughest things you'll run into is fortified monsters. Just destroyed it. absolutely destroyed it. And once my minions start getting more damage, I've just started adding minions, so I'm not even optimized. The elite pack just dead, just so quick. Gone, whole crowd. Next. And when I run low, I can empower my minions like this, and then I start attacking again. Everything dies. So this is on hardcore. Like, I'm building for defense more than damage, because with overpower, you don't even need the damage. Look at that. Just destroys. The biggest thing is you gotta have fortify. This is a great example right here. This will give you an idea of what this build can do. Got some stragglers following us. So here we got this gone. Next. 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 Gotta wait for him to spawn again so I can kill them all again. Hurry up, guys, we're fighting. And by the time the next pack comes, I already have full essence again. And the whole time I'm buffing my minions and getting fortification from it and blood orbs. There's so many blood orbs everywhere that if I get into trouble, I can just go around. And then if I need more essence, I'll just pick up a couple blood orbs and they give me essence too. So yeah, this build absolutely just destroys. But the Necro sucks. The minion summoner Necro sucks, guys. I'm so sick of hearing it. Build the character right before you make a comment like that. They clearly don't know what they're doing. And it's just a never-ending verbal diarrhea about the Necro not being good on these builds. Build guys and tier lists. They have no business making a tier list if they can't even figure out how to make a character. But I wanted to bring you guys this. Let's finish this dungeon up. We'll show you the boss fight, and then we'll go into what I'm using, what my skills are. I just wanted to do like a demonstration video. I'm sorry I haven't been putting out many videos. I've just been hooked on this fucking game. I can't stop playing it. I just saw another video yesterday, though, about how the Summoner Necro sucks, and I wanted to squash that shit. The whole principle of this build is the way I'm building Fortify is Blood Drinker, though. That is a key ingredient. I have it in my first Paragon board slot. That's temporary until I get into my fourth board. So it's not going to be that way in endgame. But also Blood Orbs give me mana or essence. Same thing. But here we go. We got a boss here. Let's see. Doesn't look like I'm doing a lot of damage until I'm doing a crazy amount of damage. Tough fight. But Summoner sucks. So don't play the Summoner. Buff the Summoner, that's what I say. Let Rex keep telling them that it sucks so I can be even stronger, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess that speaks for itself. Did that look like a hard boss fight to you? Does it look like I'm struggling? I don't know what to say. Apparently that is, you know, not effective damage. I see all these sorcerers running ice blades because it kills bosses quickly. By the time they would have CC'd that boss, it would already be dead with this build. So the ice blades sorcerer is, sure, it's good for the sorcerer, but this build absolutely collapsed that. That wasn't even, but what, 20 seconds, that boss was dead. And it's funny because it looks like you're not doing much damage, but then you are. I did find this ring, which is crazy. This ring is absolutely nuts. This is another reason why, if you think that the minions suck, put that on once. Like, that ring absolutely destroys, and it's not that rare. I mean, I found it. It makes it so you don't even really need to invest in minion survivability after the fact. If you are empowering your minions regularly, like, I didn't even use corpse tendrils to make that boss vulnerable. I could have killed him even faster. But it's just so unnecessary. Like, I'm thinking about throwing the golem on there because I forget to make them vulnerable by the time they're already dead. So the minions absolutely fucking destroy. And then you put in bloodbath. That cleans up all of the white mobs. They die in just a hit or two. Usually, if you have your 5 stacks, it's a one shot for the whole crowd. Then if you have your 15 stacks, it's a one shot for the whole crowd. Also, both of these just chunk bosses. I gave up. I had over 600% overpower damage. I'm only running 243, which it's actually higher than that because this is not calculated in it. That's another 30 when I'm healthy, which I always am with all these blood orbs. And then also I'm running bloodbath, which is another 50. So it's actually 80 higher than what it reads. So I have about 320. I was at over 600, and it was so excessive. I was like, I don't need any more damage. I need to give up some of this damage. It's a waste. So if you guys are looking for a build, I'm going to make an updated build guide for this build. I wanted to show you a rundown of it. Let's go over the skills real fast, but I will do a full in-depth guide on it just like I did before. This is like if you took my first version, my first video I posted on YouTube, and the second one, and you kind of made a mixture of the two. It's kind of evolved since the game came out. I don't really need damage anymore. I just put all my damage in the blood surge, and that's it. So I'm running hemorrhage with 1 point because I almost never use it. I use this if I need fortify, but my minions generate me so much essence that I don't have any need to cast a basic skill at the moment. I did until I got the extra mages. I'm running 2 extra mages, which really helps. So I don't need this other than to make blood orbs when I really, really need them, and to fortify if I get a little low on fortify. But usually my blood orbs and my minions' corpse production both solve that problem before it even ever happens. So I barely use this anymore. In the beginning you will, and I would suggest 5 points into it until you're fully up and running. Post 50 you can bring it down to this, and once you have Blood Drinker, which is a glyph. Imperfectly and Unliving Energy. Blood Surge, obviously. I have a +3 on my gloves to make this 8 out of 5. Very strong. It's very strong. Blood Surge heals you as well. So that's 100 life every time you cast it, and when you're spamming it because your minions are making you so much essence, it's really nice. And your blood orbs are giving you essence, so that's helping as well. Blood orbs are huge in this. Essence, fortify, healing, heals your minions. Like, blood orbs are hardcore, like, mana from heaven. It's amazing. If an enemy is damaged by Blood Surge Nova while you're healthy, you gain 1 stack of overwhelming blood. Obviously, you were always healthy, we're always fortified, we're always getting blood orbs. So this pretty much always procs and guarantees those overpowers. I don't really need any other type of damage. I'm not going to stack crit damage anymore. I'm only going to stack crit strike because my minions inherit 30% of my crit strike. But I don't even have a lot, and they still destroy. I'm not running any points into Blood Mist because I'm picking up 3 points off of my pants. Because of the reduced cooldown from having 3 points into it, I don't really find Enhanced Blood Mist necessary. I would run at least 1 point into this. This build is so tanky, though, you can get away without it. I almost never push the button, but it's nice to have. I've had a few oh shit moments to where anytime I get near 50% health, I push this button. Like, and I've only went below 50 probably 3 times with this build since making it, and I'm level 69. So, very tanky build. I don't use Corpse Explosion anymore. I did before I switched to minions, but that's the crossover that I used when I switched to minions, because this build is better without minions until you get into 60s. I would say after 64, I switched to minion and I started leveling so much faster. I've been tankier, so it's nice because you're not getting all of the hits on you. So I was able to give up things like Aspect of Might and stuff like that to up my minions abilities. So Skeletal Warrior, obviously, we're using skellies and mages, of course. But then we're Grim Harvest, so that whenever I cast this, I get some 6 essence. It was really strong when it was 9. It's still really strong at 6. It's excessive at 6 still, so it's very good. Close enemies, obviously, with Blood Surge, you got to get close. So this is just pure gold. So they're going to take 6% more, but the damage reduction's what we're after. Decrepify, great for bosses, great for elites, slows them, controls them, and makes it so they don't hurt you and your minions as much. And it's good for staggering a really tough boss, or helping get some stagger on a world boss. We're almost getting everything in here. I would get all 3 into this early on, but once your minions have something buffing them, like Mandolin or Mendolin, that's makes this less necessary. So I only have 2 out of 3, but I do feel like this one actually works better. So you can get away with just having this if you wanted to. But I don't really need any more points, so I just went ahead and threw them in there. I was running Amplify. It's not necessary. You do so much damage with Overpower. It barely registers. Because it's more based on your life and Fortify than anything. So we want a lot of life and we want a lot of Fortify, but we don't want to get it through our gems. We want damage reduction through our gems, because that's going to pay dividends. Corpse Tendrils, you don't have to run this. I don't even think I'm going too much longer, because the Golem can do the same thing more consistently. I just don't know how the Golem is going to survive, because I don't have anything in Golem Mastery, and I'm going to put them in there, these 3 points into Golem Mastery, and test it. I'll know by the time I make the full guide. This is just kind of a run through. I'm not going to explain everything. Bonded Essence, we're just a little extra healing, 20% instead of the 10% over those 5 seconds. It's going to help keep your minions alive. This is really going to help keep your minions alive too, because you're constantly getting those orbs. Extra reduction on the amount of damage they can take at maximum, because world bosses and stuff will just absolutely shit on your minions if you don't have this. This will give you the opportunity to heal your minions through your warriors reaping corpses, and they reap a lot because they inherit 30% of your attack speed, and if you increase your attack speed through things like inspiring leader, it's really going to help. And items that add to minion attack speed, they're going to be proccing so many more corpses. So very, very nice. You can also get items like amulets that add more to this and make it even higher than 3. You can go above 3 on passives as well. Your minions deal 30% increased damage while you're close to them. Well, that's where Blood Surge comes in. Not to mention, this build is designed to use the Death Speaker's Pendant. I don't have it yet. I cannot imagine what this thing is going to do with Death Speakers. You don't even need it, though. But with Death Speakers, holy fuck, it's going to destroy. It's going to absolutely nuke the whole screen, kill bosses in seconds. It's going to be crazy. Rathmas for our Overpower, simple enough. Quick rundown of our items. Primarily focusing stats and life. Damage reduction is my third thing that I need. So damage reduction while injured, that is a lifesaver. If you can get that on gear, that will keep you alive. As soon as you get injured, you just stop taking damage, especially this roll of 32%. This is a perfect roll in these boots. So you're literally cheating death with that shit. Critical strike chance. This is for my minions' benefit. The strength, I wish it would have been willpower, because that would have given me more overpower damage. Critical strike chance against injured enemies. I don't know if that carries over to your minions. I believe it's just critical strike chance. These gloves are not as good as they could be. I'm just using them in the meantime until I find a better set. But even without optimized gloves, only thing I really am benefiting from is the crit chance and the blood surge. Otherwise, it's kind of meh. But still, still rocking with even with these gloves. I would highly suggest you keep any of those crafted or items to craft with that give you the Mage's Blizzard, because that is so nice for crowd control. It freezes elites. It's constantly slowing everything. It makes them vulnerable when they're frozen. It's huge. So definitely use that on your gloves, because the gloves are going to give you the greatest benefit for the amount of cold damage that it's going to do. You could put this on an amulet and get more. I would not do that, because we want Blood Surge's Echo on our amulet for the least amount of reduction in damage. This amulet is absolute garbage. I've been using it for 20 plus levels. Probably more than that. Probably since 40s. But it has Blood Surge Echoes at 41%. That's enough to make this viable. The rank to corpse skill sucks. The willpower's one of the best things on it, and the blood skill damage helps a little, but most of my damage comes from overpower. So, like, even my hemorrhage, most of it's, like, I can still kill stuff with hemorrhage, because when it overpowers, it's double my life, and then multiplied by 320%. So damage pretty much means nothing on these two skills. It's just overpower damage. Blood Surge does enough to where it's noticeable. Increasing the damage on this is noticeable. It effectively gives me like 30% more damage on top of my overpower, but it's still only doing like 30% of what the overpower does. So, Bubble. Good way to stay alive. This is a must-have on every hardcore character. If you don't have this, you'll probably die. If you can get a 5.0, awesome. This chest is insane, though. Blood skill damage, damage reduction, flat damage reduction, 6.7%. That's huge. 362 life, and damage reduction while fortified with 2 sockets for more damage reduction. So the damage reduction from this defensive layer alone is huge. Plus, if I get hurt, I'm invincible for 5 seconds. So this is very lucky. Don't expect to find this. This is crazy good. Been using this for about 6 levels, and holy shit does it help. Another crazy roll on this one. Using it for extra warriors. Tons of intelligence, an unbelievable amount of life. Max essence is great for extra blood surges. That helps me get my 5 stacks up. And then crowd control duration helps with my Decrepify. Especially it mitigates when they have crowd control reduction in a nightmare dungeon. It helps mitigate that so that it still lasts a long time. And damage reduction from fortified, always on every piece of gear. Ranks the blood mist, 21 to all stats. That's ideal. If you can get 21 to all stats, that's best in slot for your Paragon board. Damage reduction while injured. Between this and this, I have over 62% damage reduction while injured. So, absolutely unkillable when I get injured. Like, it gives me so much time to get healed up and, not get ripped. Now, if they hit you with a really big one-shot damage, if you don't have Fortify up, you could possibly still die. But if you build this character right with 4,100 life or more at this point, which a lot of people talk about having 2,000 life on their necros and stuff at this level, like, you ain't building your character right. You got 20 some hundred life. You're just going all damage, and that's why you're dying. So you should have double that. And I'm not even trying too hard to get that much life. So big intelligence bonus for lots of flat damage. Damage to close enemies for blood surge. Basic skill damage. I need a new weapon because that's a waste now. I barely even use hemorrhage now because my minions are generating me so much essence. I use hemorrhage when I need a little extra fortify on a boss fight or something, or against the butcher. But yeah, it absolutely is unnecessary at this point. I could probably go with something. I would ideally prefer, I don't know, fortify generation or something like that. But 107 life, one kill. You do an AOE and it kills everything around you and kills like 10 of them. It's a thousand life right there as soon as you one shot a crowd. So it keeps you alive. Life one kills huge on a weapon. That's why I've had such a hard time replacing this. Fortify generation, willpower, and dex, which is huge for the Paragon board. I need more dex, and I need willpower's overpower damage, so. Cooldown reduction's nice, but I barely use it because the only cooldowns I have are Tendrils and Blood Mist, and I barely use either of them, but it's nice to have. Damage for 4 seconds after picking up Blood Orbs really, really stacks well if you can get a lot of it. That helps with Blood Surge a lot. It also seems to add another layer to the Blood Orbs. Blood Orbs are huge for the Necro, and Bone Necros don't get any, and that's why they suck, in my opinion. I'm sure you're sorry if you're a Bone Necro out there, but I really feel like they have a very hard time defensively compared to the Blood Necro. If you don't have some way to generate Blood Orbs, you're missing out on so much damage reduction, survivability, minion survivability, damage increase. It's just, their Blood Orbs are amazing. While on full life, and this is just a codex. I have not found a single ring since level 1 that has this mod on it higher than 10. So I found one with 10 on it. So yeah, but the codex does that automatically for you. So high crit roll, that's for my minions. Ton of life and remember, whatever that value of life you get on an item is, double it, and that's what it adds to your overpower damage. So and plus the percent multiplier. So that's probably closer to like 700. I'm sorry, that's probably closer to 1,000 damage that this ring adds, if not more. Probably closer to 1,250 or so. So yeah, 350 life is closer to 1,250 damage with my percent overpower damage of 320. So damage to slowed enemies, that's where Decrepify comes in. And Fortified Generation and Resistances obviously are nice to have. Mendelin is insane. That's the best item I have. Maximum life to your minions. They stop dying if you have this ring. Like, plus the lucky hit chance is good. Lucky hit chance is going to proc that lucky hit 10%. If you just do your basic attack on a boss over and over again, because there's such a high lucky hit chance on Hemorrhage, which they upped it from 40 to 45, it procs this and their life just goes dead. Like, dungeon bosses just dead instantly. So this is a hard ring to find. I've only found it once. But it can't be too rare if I found it. Really, really sought after item for the Summon Necro, in my opinion. Nice high resistance rolls on it, but yeah, this is a must if you can come across it. Thorns damage ain't bad either. Fucking 850 thorns, and the minions inherit 30% of it. So corpse, we already went over that. But yeah, that's the Necro in a nutshell, where he currently stands. I will go over more ideal items because this is just what I threw together when I switched over to minions like 4 levels ago. I think I was 63 or 64, and I just started flying through the game since I've switched over. And it's not that my damage wasn't as good before, it was just the survivability. Having those extra bodies in the way really helps. So the summon necro is strong. Respect to Gazi for not giving up on the summon necro, and I looked at some of his builds, and he's the only one that I feel like is doing the summon necro correct. So shout out to Gazi TV. Dude is one of the few believers of the necro. But I'm watching other streamers and stuff, and they're struggling with like barbarian builds and stuff, and in hardcore. Obviously, in softcore, it's a completely different game. It's not even like, don't go and watch a softcore video and go, oh well, these guys are, you know, blasting everything to death instantly. Well, those guys are also dying all the time. If they don't, it's kill or be killed in softcore. You're just going to either destroy them or you're going to get destroyed because you have no survivability. And yes, you can. I could do so much more damage. I could do an unbelievable amount of damage, but I'm putting stuff like damage reduction while injured, damage reduction, tons and tons of my gems. I could put them in as rubies and multiply my damage significantly because my life would skyrocket. I could have 6,000 life if I just switched these all to rubies. And I wouldn't have picked all of these mods on my chest. I would have hunted for other mods to buff my damage and my minions damage, but I'm putting on defensive layers instead of damage, so it's completely different in hardcore. That's why you don't see people that are just absolutely sprinting through hardcore super easily. There's only a handful of people that are doing that, and it's probably due to the people they're playing with, helping them and synergizing with them. So this build has pretty much been me alone for 90% of the time. I've been doing this build 90% alone. My buddy Joe and I, whenever he's around, we destroy together. This build initially was started the first 24 hours. He and I flew through to 50, and that was with the blood without minions build setup. So I've converted now to the minion setup, and I feel like after a little longer on the Paragon board here, I will be getting a lot stronger. I'm running Blood Drinker to amplify the damage bonuses of just these two nodes, the damage node and the armor node, for some survivability, but the only reason that I'm running this is for the fortification. This means nothing to me, really. It's just a nice little side effect. Once this is at level 15, I'll use it to enhance the extra armor and the extra damage nodes. So these will be way higher. They'll all be about 10% or so. So that's also not going to stay there very long. This is going to go into Blood Begets Blood later, which will be right here on this. I haven't gotten to it yet. Mage is in the socket that it'll remain in. This is a lot of skeletal mage damage that I'm getting from it. I need 2 more points in intelligence, which is going to be right here. I need to go 3 more points, and I'll have damage while fortified, and my mages will be doing an insane amount of damage by that point. This is also going to help my mages survive with that 25% resist all. Dead Razor is just increasing these minion damage nodes within range. Damage reduction, minion damage, and then this is going to also get buffed once it's level 15. I'm only up to, what is this? Does it say what level it is? 8. I have it 8. So Blood Drinker and Dead Razor 8, Mage is 7. So it's getting there, though. I feel like after a little bit longer, it will be laughable. The amount of damage that this does will just be complete destruction. And I don't even have half the Paragon stuff for my build yet. This will help my minions some more, but the only thing I've really put in for myself is Bloodbath. But once I get Blood Begets Blood, I'll start getting damage from Blood Orbs. But I plan on filling this whole page out first. I want to fill this whole page out, and then I'll add Blood Begets Blood for the additional overpower damage and Blood Orb damage. That'll be one of the last things I get, though. So I hope you guys enjoy the build, and I'm glad I was able to make this and shut up a lot of these streamers saying the Summon Necro and the Blood Necro are not as good as the Bone Spear Necro. I know for a fact that Bone Spear is nowhere near as tanky, and the minions are nowhere near as viable with that build. So, highly suggest you check it out. I will make a full breakdown guide of with the tree, and I gotta configure a few things differently to fit the golem in. I feel like the golem is better than corpse tendrils for me. It's another body, and it could be interesting to see what kind of interactions we get. But that's it for today. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make some more content. I gotta stop playing this game 24/7. I can't seem to put it down. It's so good, but highly suggest it. 69 on hardcore. Necro is amazing. Summoner Necro is strong as hell. Don't believe the liars or the people that haven't tested it correctly. I appreciate you watching. Have a good day.